Hey, this is DeAndre Yedlin. I play for Newcastle United in the U.S. men's national team, and this is Shirts and Skins. So I grew up with my grandparents. My grandpa really didn't care whether I got them or not. My grandma actually loves them, but she just always told me to make sure that they mean something to me. She said, I don't care if you get tattoos, but just make sure that anything you get means something to you because you don't want to regret it 25, 30 years later. So for me, I always like to look at tattoos. I always like just the way they looked on the body. Where I grew up in Washington, it was illegal to get a tattoo before you're 18, so I actually waited till my 18th birthday till I got my first one. I was mad nervous. I'd talked to some of my friends that had tattoos before and just said, what does it feel like? What does it feel like? And they obviously were like exaggerating a bit. It was like, yo, it's so painful. You're gonna be crying, all this stuff. But yeah, I got my first one. It was on my shoulder. It's for my great-grandparents who are Jewish. It's a Hebrew symbol. It's called a lamed, and it's basically just doing one's will in life. It kind of goes like that, and my initials are under it, and then my grandparents or great-grandparents' initials are on top of it, and it says one family over the top. My great-grandparents luckily were alive when I got that one that I showed them it, and they loved it, and just seeing their reaction, I was like, man, I like their reaction, obviously, and I like the way it looked. So I was like, let me get another one, but make sure that obviously it means something to me. My second one was actually was in college. I just turned professional, I believe, and I was going back to visit all my friends in college, and I was like, yo, I need a tattoo on my chest. And I got, it's right here, it says, I have overcome, I will overcome, I have overcome. But I did it last minute, because I was like, I need a tattoo before I go back that people can see. I was gonna wear, a shirt that's like a little bit drapey so you can see my chest. Yeah, so I got those words, but the dude was like, all right, well, how much money do you have? And then that will determine what kind of font we can do, this and that. So I said, all I have is $50, because that's all I had cash at the time. So I gave $50 and it came out and it was horrible, it's a horrible font. It looked terrible. So I didn't cover it, but I had to get stuff around it so it's not as noticeable. But yeah, that was it was a funny experience to be on. Top 3, I'll do this one right here. Obviously my first one, just because it's my first and it's dedicated to my great-grandparents. I think that one obviously has a lot of meaning. So I got an arm sleeve, and they're not I kind of count this as all as one tattoo because I got it pretty much all at the same time. It took me 2 sessions, but I think this was my 3rd tattoo. And it's a tattoo about Seattle. I have Washington on my hand. But the whole thing is basically a tattoo about Seattle. So I think this one has a lot of meaning as well. The 3rd one I liked how I did the symbolism for this one. I have one it's kind of like on my Achilles sort of, or like lower calf Achilles. And it's a hashtag with a red cross through it. I like to call this like my activist leg. So I got Martin Luther King, I got the fist back here. I actually have my great-grandpa tatted right here. And Reggie Jackson, my great-grandpa was the first one to sell him a house when he was a baseball player, and nobody would sell him a house because he was black. So, but the hashtag with the red cross through it is basically just saying stop turning us into hashtags. So I like the symbols of that one, and I use red. I have red only in 2 spots on my body. I have the word dream right here in red, and that part's red. And I try to use the color where I obviously really wanted stuff to stand out. So yeah, I think that one had a lot of meaning to me as well. So this whole arm is basically kind of like a timeline. I try to pick out 3 moments in my career that kind of changed my career. So I have me as basically a kid, holding a soccer ball when I was really young, probably 3 years old. Then I have me in college. I think I always say this is that in college I went to University of Akron. I had Caleb Porter was my coach, and he's kind of the one that turned me into a right back, which has boosted my career and put me where I'm at today. So I think that was a huge change. And then obviously when I was making my debut in the World Cup, which was obviously another huge step in my career. So I have all the numbers that I've ever worn in my career across my chest. I think there's only 2 that don't have number 2 in it, which is kind of ironic. But yeah, so I try to keep 2 in every number that I wear, and I will try for the rest of my career. There's a guy on our team, Kennedy. He's super tatted, gets on his knees, legs, everywhere, and he doesn't think tattoos hurt, but he said I will not touch my neck. So for that reason, it kind of freaks me out a bit. Tattoos for me is just a way to express yourself. I think if anybody knows me, they know that I love expressing myself in many different ways. The way I dress, my hairstyles, just like the swag overall in general, and then obviously you have your tattoos. I think if somebody looked at me and I couldn't speak, they would know a bit more about me. I chose number 2 as my jersey number. Then Clint Dempsey came in, obviously his name is Deuce, so he took number 2 off me and I had to go with 17, which hurt a little bit, but he paid me for it, so.
Did Dempsey pay you $2 bills?
No, unfortunately not. It would have been a pretty big stack of $2 bills.